Being creative is a positive autistic trait. A world for us. Autistic inner worlds are richly detailed and of vital importance to the people who use their minds so creatively. There is a devastating stereotype that autistic people lack imagination or creativity, which clearly is baseless. Perhaps fewer people would spend so much time internally if the external world were not so unaccommodating, but even still, being able to live inside one's thoughts and explore them in a healthy, vibrant, creative way to evaluate and take stock of our thoughts. The layered and detailed nature of this internal world building allows for autistic people to exist in a parallel with the world that should be and the one that is, and perhaps to find a way to bridge the two.
So I really don't like to exaggerate, but it's no exaggeration to say that most, if not all, autistic people I've ever met have most, if not all, of the traits. Exactly how these traits are expressed are uniquely different for every person, and that's part of what makes the beautiful diversity of our community. But there are some strengths that a lot of us have.
If neurodiversity is the natural variation of cognition, motivations, and patterns of behavior within the human species, then what role do autistic traits in particular play within human cultures, and what cultural evolutionary pressures have allowed autistic traits to persist over hundreds of thousands of years? The benefits of autistic traits such as autistic levels of hypersensitivity, hyperfocus, perseverance, lack of interest in social status, and inability to maintain hidden agendas mostly do not materialize at an individual level, but at the level of the local social environment that an autistic person is embedded in. The neurochemistry of autistic ways of being, regardless of whether specific autistic traits have a genetic basis or are the result of early learning experiences made by autistic children in their local social environment. As we don't play the right way, we are absorbed in our own world, we ignore social status, we show little or no interest in participating in competitive games, etc. The hypersensitivity and pattern recognition abilities of autistic people shape the specific experiences and situations that trigger neurochemical rewards in ways that differ significantly from cultural norms. Neurodeventures are built on timeless and minimalistic principles for coordinating trusted collaboration that predate the emergence of civilization. All members share a commitment to 1. Visibly extend trust to people, to release the handbrake to collaboration. 2. Unlock the tacit knowledge within the group. 3. Provide a space for creative freedom. 4. Help repair frayed relationships. 5. Replace fear with courage. The future role of autistic people. Hierarchical social structures stand in the way of collaboration across cultural and organizational boundaries at all levels of scale. In the face of existential risks, the cultural inertia of civilization will either lead to the extinction of the human species, or humans will rediscover an interest in genuine collaboration without hidden agendas at human scale. Potato, so-called milk, for sure is not the solution. And I sure hope that we can turn it around and not end up destroying ourselves with idiotic ideologies based on profit and greed This started quite a long time ago, but now, unfortunately, we have doctors who know nothing about the benefits of nutrition or herbs or any holistic practices. We have an entire society that is enslaved to corporations for its well-being. Our so-called sick care is focused not on cure but only on symptoms, thus creating repeat customers. So, I have seen this myself. When doctors are absolutely puzzled when I tell them that the way I eat has actually reversed chronic pain and made me more functional, gave me my mobility back. They just don't want to believe you. They think, yeah, you are taking supplements or whatever. It's always based on taking something. Eat the way your body needs it. Nourish your body. Treat it like a temple, not like a garbage can. But yeah, it seems at least some people are catching up. And there warn other people that these processed foods, excitotoxins, they contain little to no whole food ingredients, often lack essential nutrients, and often contain additives such as flavorings, colorings, and other products that make the food more appealing to consumers. In other words, they in no way resemble the original food sources. These are the truly nourishing foods. In comparison to ultra-processed foods, there is no nutrition in it, nothing. And they are generally quick and easy to prepare or ready to eat out of the packaging. They are often less expensive than whole foods, that's the problem, especially when they are available from generic or store brands. Upon review of self-reported nationally representative dietary records of more than 10,000 men and women, aged 18 and older, the study authors were able to name the 8 UPFs most commonly consumed. These include sugar-sweetened drinks, reconstituted meat products, packaged snack foods, chips, breakfast cereals, cookies, and cake. All of that is just garbage, which then result in general mild depression and anxiety, and you can really turn it around. When you eat the proper nutritious foods, your brain comes alive. That's literally true for me. So I can highly recommend it. Because it's such a relief when you think clearly and have no brain fog, and then from this balanced state of mind you can actually be so creative because you feel good. Autistics are uniquely equipped to act as catalysts and translators between different cultures and groups because they have to spend conscious effort on understanding each individual, and they are trustworthy due to their inability to maintain hidden agendas.
we tend to focus on one or two things. Sometimes they're called special interests, and our attention to detail in those areas means that we have specialized skills in those areas. This often looks like being very passionate and having extremely high standards. So I know for myself, before I can feel confident with something, I need to have about a 99% confidence level before I think that I know something. And what I've noticed, the neurotypicals around me, if they're about 60 or 70% sure, then they go with that decision. Whereas I feel like I need to keep looking, keep asking the question, and be very, very, very sure.
I have yet to meet an autistic person who is capable of maintaining a hidden agenda. This means that autistic people are ill-equipped for the competitive social game of civilization. However, in all domains that require specialized skills and deep knowledge, some of the best professionals, in terms of their level of experience and problem-solving abilities, have strong autistic traits. It is very likely that these people will be misunderstood by their colleagues on a regular basis and may be perceived as competitive, simply because they may not stick to all the social rules of politeness at all times. A relevant extract from an earlier article on bullying. In particular, the questions that autistic professionals ask may be very direct and their answers short and to the point, and they may praise outcomes achieved instead of the contributions of individuals, because they recognize that all good work takes a team, and because they consider social status to be irrelevant. This easily gets autistic people into trouble with superiors, as well as with subordinates, who they are expected to manage. These autistic professionals are not bullies. The key differences between an autistic professional and a professional bully. 1. The autistic professional does not have a hidden agenda, may get angry in the moment but will never hold a grudge or follow a plot to get ahead. 2. The autistic professional is highly competent in his core areas of expertise, which can easily be interpreted as arrogance. 3. The autistic professional does not exaggerate or brush inconvenient things under the carpet, and will openly talk about uncertainties, risks, and mistakes made. A good indicator to clear up any perception of arrogance. 4. The autistic professional is not interested in exerting power over other people, but will tend to use direct language, which can be interpreted as authoritarian. 5. The autistic professional cares a lot about and goes to great lengths to achieve optimal work results. This again may involve asking for appropriate actions from others in direct language.
Thinking outside the box, ignoring social expectations, being innovative, creating new things. And this could be in any area of life. It might be art or music or dancing or writing or philosophy, you name it. I guarantee you can find an autistic person who's creative in that area. So this is really fantastic from a work perspective. When you couple this with our attention to detail, we can think outside the box from a fresh perspective and bring something to a team that would otherwise not be there.
An artist must meet and overcome their outer and inner obstacles before any creative task. Every artistic challenge invites you to find a personal, unique approach and put your soul into it. When we do, that is art.
This is my latest mandala, not yet finished, work in progress.
Art demands that we go beyond the familiar. It takes courage to create. Art happens while we're in an elevated state of being, in flow, rising beyond reason, in touch with the higher worlds of spirit.
I came across this wonderful article and I can totally relate with the Weaver way of perception, seeing the overall picture, having the bird's eye perspective of attending to things. Weavers are a small minority of communicators, and they do not communicate with a destination in mind. That is not to say that they don't have a point per se. They are looking instead to make a tapestry. Weaver communication is more like this, connecting the dots, seeing the whole picture. We feel like we are completing the other person's brain because, in a way, we are. We are fleshing out the intersecting tapestry that combines our thoughts and experiences with someone else's. This brings us to the next autistic trait, empathy.
Now, you might think, wait, what, aren't autistic people supposed to lack empathy? Isn't that what everyone says? Actually, we know that that's a myth. There was an online survey run by Chris Bonello from Autistic Not Weird not that long ago, and he actually found that a lot of people say that they feel like they have too much empathy, and that is actually a problem compared to not having enough empathy. So another way to think about this is that we can be really sensitive to some things, and this makes sense when you think about it through the frame of attention to detail. We notice small things, we can get affected by small things. One of the reasons that people think we lack empathy is something called the double empathy problem, that it's hard to relate to someone who's very, very different to you. But on the other hand, think about someone like Temple Grandin. So she had this amazing ability to understand and connect with cows that the neurotypicals around her just couldn't really understand. But at the same time, if you're relating to cows as much as you are relating to humans, then that probably says that you're not really as close to your fellow human beings as you could be. In fact, this was why sometimes Asperger's is called wrong planet syndrome, because some people literally ask the question, am I the same species as the people around me, or was I somehow accidentally dropped here by aliens and now I have to learn how to get along with the natives? So the other interesting thing that happens when you're really empathic is that you see the real person that is talking to you. So if you're talking to me and you're sad, but you're pretending to be happy because that's the socially appropriate thing to do, then I will respond to you as if you're sad, and that makes people feel really uncomfortable sometimes. I was supposed to know that if you're pretending to be happy, I should treat you as if you're happy and pretend I can't see the sad. So it took me a long time to learn that just because someone is actually sad, if they're saying they're happy, I need to pretend they're happy. And that just blew my mind. But unfortunately, these kinds of complicated social dynamics lead a lot of autistic people to feel like we don't understand other people's emotions. Because I thought you were sad, but you're telling me that you're happy, and there's no congruence there. Actually, you're probably right. There is often no congruence between a person's actual state and their actual actions. But this is just a really complicated social thing that we need to learn.